This mom let her twin boys wreck the whole pool, then acted like we were the problem. I was working as a lifeguard at Mountain Creek Community Pool last summer when this mom walked in wearing designer sunglasses, followed by identical twin boys. She didn't stop at the desk, didn't get them wristbands, didn't say a word to them. She just grabbed the best lounge chair. They sprinted across the wet deck while people jumped out of their way. I blew my whistle and pointed at the no running sign. They looked at me, grinned, and kept going. So I walked over to their mom and said, "Ma'am, your kids need to walk on the deck. Someone's going to get hurt." She barely looked up from her phone. "Boys don't run so much," she said, then went right back to scrolling. "Not stop running, just don't run so much." Like there was some safe amount of sprinting on wet concrete. I stayed close and kept watching them. 10 minutes later, the deep end exploded into yelling. One twin was doing cannonballs right onto other kids. The other had somehow brought in water balloons and was throwing them at lap swimmers. One balloon smacked an older man in the face hard enough to knock off his prescription goggles. He came up coughing and grabbing the lane rope while the twins laughed. I handed my zone to the guard next to me and went straight back to the mom. She had her chair back, eyes closed. I said, "Your sons are hitting people and jumping on swimmers. This stops now." She pushed her sunglasses up and looked at me like I was the problem. "They're expressing themselves creatively," she said. "Don't stifle their spirits. This is how boys play." I said, "No, this is how someone gets injured." She laughed and said lifeguards loved acting important. Then she waved one hand at me and told me not to ruin their fun. For about 15 minutes, things got quiet. Too quiet. The twins were in the deep end, whispering, then going underwater. At first, it looked like a breath-holding game. Then I saw one boy shove the other down with both hands on his shoulders. The kid underneath kicked hard, tried to come up, and got pushed down again. His face was changing color when I blew my whistle and jumped in. I got there fast, pulled the boy up, and dragged him to the side while he coughed and sucked in air. He clung to the wall with both hands, eyes wide and panicked. That was the first moment all day their mom looked over. Instead of asking if he was okay, she stood up and yelled, "Don't manhandle my child! He was fine! They've had swimming lessons since they were 3!" I ignored her and stayed with the kid until his breathing settled. Then I stood up and told her, "Your sons were holding each other underwater. If you can't actively supervise them, you need to leave." She stormed over, jabbing a finger at me. "Are you telling me how to parent?" she snapped. I said, "I'm telling you one of them almost drowned while you were reading." That did it. She started shouting so loudly half the pool turned to stare. She demanded my name, my employee number, and the manager. She said she paid for a season pass and that we were picking on her boys. While she was going off, the twins slipped away again. I noticed it a second too late, just as another scream broke out from the far side of the deck. My manager and I ran over and found 3 people down on the concrete. An older woman was clutching her wrist and crying. A teenage girl was on one knee with blood running from her chin. A man beside them was trying not to fall again. The whole area looked shiny, and then I saw the twins standing nearby, giggling, holding an empty bottle of baby oil. They had poured it across the deck to make a slip and slide. My manager dropped beside the injured woman and called for first aid. I moved in front of the twins before they could bolt and took the bottle out of one kid's hand. He tried to grab it back and laughed. Their mom hurried over, looked at the injured people, looked at the oil, and still found a way to defend it. "Well, the deck shouldn't be so rough anyway," she said. "They were just trying to make it more fun." For 1 second, the whole area went dead quiet. My manager stood up, looked right at her and said, "That's enough. Your family is banned for the rest of the season." The mom's face went bright red. "You can't do that," she snapped. "We paid for season passes." My manager didn't blink. She said, "You'll also be billed for cleanup and the medical costs from this incident." The woman took a step forward like she was going to argue more, but security was already coming across the deck. One twin started whining while the other kept staring at the injured girl. My manager held the gate open and said, "Leave, now." The mom looked around like she expected somebody to back her up, but nobody did. Parents were pulling their kids closer. Security took the twins by the arms and guided them toward the exit, while their mom shouted that our pool had no imagination. Then the gate shut behind them. Now people are saying I was too harsh for banning them. Was I wrong?